If you're anything like me and Warren Buffett, Apple is probably the largest holding in your portfolio. I started to question my decision when my daughter wanted a free Android over $1,000 iPhone. I researched all of the tech companies and I did find a new Apple. I was going to draw out the video a little bit and go over each individual company, over all of their fundamentals and CEO and all that. But in this video, I'm going to compare the stocks by their PE ratio, their intrinsic value, and their Morningstar rating. The Morningstar rating is something I get from Robinhood. If you don't have an investing account with Robinhood already, use my link in the description for free stocks. I do think in order to get the Morningstar rating, you have to pay monthly, but the app is free. But by using my link, you can get a free stock, and that free stock could probably add up to a couple $100 over a 30-year period. So whether you have an investing account or not, go ahead and use my link. Before I get into comparing these stocks, y'all do me a favor and make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for me. So looking at their PE ratio, of course you want a lower PE ratio. So I'm gonna go from highest to lowest. Amazon's PE ratio is 332. Facebook's PE ratio is 40. Microsoft's PE ratio is 35. Apple's PE ratio is 30. And Google's PE ratio is 29. Google has the lowest PE ratio, so they're ahead of the pack so far on my valuation. As far as the intrinsic value, all of them are overvalued except for Facebook and Google. Facebook is undervalued by 27% and Google is undervalued by 21%. So Facebook is ahead on that one with Google in second. As far as their Morningstar rating, the highest rating is a 5 and the lowest is a 1. Apple has a 2 as a Morningstar rating. Amazon, Microsoft, and Facebook have 3-star Morningstar rating, and Google has a 4 Morningstar rating. Google has 2 points out of the 3. Google is the company that I'm going to compare next to Apple. Both Google and Apple are great companies. I Googled which one had a better CEO. They usually come neck and neck in the top 10 list. So for a CEO, they crack even. As far as their cell phones, the iPhone and the Android. The iPhone is the #1 selling phone in America, but worldwide, Android is used a lot more. The Android market worldwide is 73%. So most of the world uses Androids. I compared their current and future prospects. Apple just came out with their goggles for the metaverse. Google just came out with Bard, which is an AI search engine. As far as that goes, I do like the AI play more than I like the metaverse play. Looks like Google is making better advancements. So speaking of advancements, I also looked at their future plans. Apple's future plans are to come out with an Apple Car and a foldable phone. Google is working on Wing, which is a drone delivery service. Google also started Waymo, which is an autonomous rideshare, which is already available in California. People are getting driven around without any driver. Google also has Verily, which is an AI and data science company. I like Google's future prospects over Apple's future prospects. Google is also the #2 social media company with YouTube and #3 for cloud infrastructure. So far, everything on Google looks a lot better than Apple, but now I'm gonna get into what's really important, and that's the financials. I looked in both of their bank accounts to see what's going on. I looked at the charts, and the charts say that Apple should be decreasing for 9 months, but on an increase after that. On Google's chart, it looks like the stock should increase consistently for the whole next 9 months. I looked at their operating income. Google's operating income is 74 million. Apple's operating income is 113 million. So Apple looks a little better as far as the operating income. And Google's operating profits is half of what Apple is. Google's operating profits is around 50 million, while Apple is at 100 million. Apple looks a little better on that one as well. With the cost of revenue, the lower is better. Apple's cost of revenue is 220 million. Google's cost of revenue is 110 million. Last but not least, one of my favorite things to look at is the gross profit margins. Apple's gross profit margins are 43%. Google's gross profit margins are 57%. So Google also has a higher gross profit margin. Hands down, a better company going forward for Apple. But I don't think you should invest in either one. I tell my viewers all the time, don't invest in individual stocks. The best way to invest in Google is to invest in Investco QQQ, where you can have Google, Apple, Microsoft, and all of the companies in one. So I don't recommend for you to invest individually in any of the stocks I talked about today. Invest in Investco QQQ. That way, when you get in a situation where the company that you own is no longer the dominant company in its industry, you're protected. Google is the best tech company. I have it in my portfolio, but I am personally about to switch over to Investco QQQ, which I recommend for everybody to do else to do the same. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe, and see you boy next week on Friday.